What's good, guys? Let's get into this. So, as some of you may know, both Aba&Preach and Fresh&Fit have been in a feud lately. The reason I'm creating this video is because I consume both their content. I think both content creators are great at what they do, and it's highly disappointing to watch two content creators that you really enjoy feud in this way. This video isn't to bash one side or another. I really do want to come from a more neutral perspective. And the reason is I want to understand how this problem came to be, what both sides were thinking, and how this can be avoided in the future. Because I think this serves as a lesson to many content creators on how to, one, avoid drama, two, how to handle and maneuver yourself if you ever get caught into drama, and three, how to properly get out of the situation, right? So let's start at the beginning. Aba&Preach dropped a video on Fresh&Fit disagreeing on their stance that they had on legalizing prostitution. Now, Aba&Preach have gone to Miami. Well, basically just Aba&Preach was via Zoom, and they were having conversation with Fresh&Fit regarding legalizing prostitution. So that was a couple months ago, right? So fast forward to today, Aba&Preach created a video talking about how Fresh&Fit stances were ridiculous on legalizing prostitution. And I think Fresh&Fit took offense to that. And some of you might wonder why they took such offense to that. So I think they came from a perspective of, we had you in our studio, we were talking, we were discussing, we're cool, bro. Why did you go and kind of throw shade in our direction while we're growing the channel and having another controversy with some female chick they had on the panel, right? So I understand why they had that perspective, because I think when you collaborate as a YouTuber, especially when you're at that level, you kind of form this kind of like, oh, listen, I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. Whether you think that's correct or not is irrelevant, because that's literally what happened. So what these guys wanted was, hey, listen, if you have a problem, contact me behind stage. We'll settle it out, because, you know, we're growing and we don't. Because you have to understand where Fresh&Fit are coming from. They are purely businessmen. They're viewing their YouTube channel from a business perspective. So for them, they don't want this kind of attention, negative attention. And Aba&Preach did throw shade at them in their video. And I think they took like, whoa, I thought we were cool. You know, I thought we were bros or whatever. And why are you doing this behind our back after we had you on our studio? So some of you may not care about that, but I'm just letting you know why this came to be. Now, the way that Fresh&Fit responded to the criticisms in Aba&Preach video was not correct, I'm going to say. And the reason here's from two perspectives. One, they should have stuck to the topic of the disagreement. And if they felt some type of way, they should have addressed it in their video. And they should have been like, hey, listen, you can come back to our studio. We disagree with you. We don't like the way you came at us. And just left it at that. They didn't have to go super ad hominem, talking about Preach's wife, talking about their numbers and how they were kind of ego tripping. So I understand where people were coming from, but I understand they are angry, right? So you're gonna, sometimes when you're super, super angry, you're going to ego trip. It's kind of like a pride thing with a lot of men, you know. We do tend to do that. We can go into ego trips if we get super angry. So I think it's one of those things where Fresh&Fit should have stuck to, hey, listen, I disagree with you. This is why I disagree with you. And if you want to come back in studio, we can make that happen. And they should have left it at that, because I think that way they would have won, because they would have got the attention from Aba&Preach. But at the same time, people are going to be like, well, they're not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. They just had a disagreement. We can move on and they can keep on growing. But the issue is here, Myron and Fresh CEO, they went in too hard. They did. And listen, I know if you grew up in the hood or in the place, like, hey, if we're feuding, all gloves are off. I'm going to come at you. You're going to come at me. I'm going to say whatever the hell I want to. My objective is to roast the heck out of you, to roast you, all right? I'm going to attack you in every way which possible. And to some people that may seem vulgar or savage or whatever, but the thing is, that's how some of these dudes grew up. Like, roasting is a part of this culture. Like, roasting is a part of the scene. So when Aba&Preach came at them in a more, I feel like it was a little bit condescending the way they came at them in the first video, a little bit offensive. So I understand why it got under their skin. So they just went into gear and were like, I'm gonna roast these guys. You think you're gonna come at us? I like that. You think you're gonna after we had you on? All right. So it sucks, but it is what it is, right? Fast forward now, after the response, they apologized. They said, you know what? We're going to apologize because it's not worth it. A lot of their audience, I think, didn't agree with the way Myron and CEO Fresh dealt with the situation. So they given a formal apology after calling out Aba&Preach, insulting Preach's wife, and basically challenging them to a boxing match or something like that. So after they apologized in the comment section to their community, and then on video said, okay, we officially apologize, it was stupid, blah, 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 Aba&Preach came in, made a recently, like a couple hours ago, I believe, another video basically not backing down, saying, we really don't care about your video like that. You're fake. We don't care about your apology. If you still want to box, it's still on. That's what's basically been going on. So this sucks. This really does suck, because I understand where Aba&Preach are going, because if you insult me like that and I find out that you're fake in some sort of way, I'm not going to be like, all right, you know what, bro, everything's cool. Now, you talked about the wives, you talked about our numbers, you talked about boxing us. You know what, let's just deal with it. Let's settle it like men, and let's just do the action let's do the action. Let's fight. Let's do whatever. I understand that. But from this perspective as a viewer, I'm just like, this literally did nothing for everybody. This didn't paint Fresh and Fit in a good way. I think this derailed their growth, because they were exploding. They were really exploding, and at a credible rate, just a ridiculous rate. And I think this will derail them a little bit. And I think that they viewed that, and they saw the numbers, and they were like, this sucks. This is not the direction we want to go in right now. So so they're like, we're going to apologize. So they did that. Now, my final thoughts on this situation is both sides need to let it go. Both sides did things that were not correct. Both sides handled it incorrectly. I think Fresh and Fit did a little bit worse than Aba&Preach, just because they went attacking the family members, and you don't do that. I think and it's not so much of a moral thing as more of, you're going to lose audience, because when you talk about somebody's mom or wife or kids or whatever, you're going to lose audience. Don't go there. Stick to the script. And if you really don't like these guys, ignore them. That's the best way to handle it, right? So I think this is a good lesson for some of us. If someone comes at you, you can address it respectfully, and in a very kind of like a mature way, right? Because you do not want to come in and roast people and attack people, because that's just going to make you look bad. Try to always be above the fray. Try to always keep your head up. Don't get in the mud. You may be so pissed at these people, you may find out that people are snakes behind the scenes, but don't do it publicly. Be respectful. Think about your YouTube channel. Think about your growth. Forget about them. It's not worth it. At this point, honestly, Fresh and Fit might as well just ignore the whole situation. That would have been better than doing what they've done. So that's just my take on the situation, guys. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, yada, yada. You have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.